This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1143 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Uncle Jimmy's. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Justin from Total Saddle Fit, who is joined by Dressage Radio Show co-hosts Reese Koeffler-Stanfield and Phil Parks. And together they're going to answer a question from a listener about keeping your girth tight or too tight. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Uncle Jimmy's. Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls and Licky Things help combat stall boredom by providing your horse entertainment in the stall, while at the same time providing them with much-needed minerals and nutrients not found in other treats. Uncle Jimmy's has training treats covered, too, with Uncle Jimmy's Squeezy Buns. Every deliciously soft, squishy treat is individually wrapped for freshness, so your pockets won't get gummed up. Ask for Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, Licky Things, and Squeezy Buns at your local tack and feed supplier, or you can go online to uncle-jimmys.com.
Okay, I think we got another question here. The consequences of riding with a girth too loose are pretty obvious, but the girth can be too tight? Is that possible? We'd love to hear the opinion, depending on what it is. This listener has got a bet riding on this question. So, Justin, yeah, I don't know, you got to be careful here, but is it possible to over-tighten the girth?
Well, let's see. I hope the faithful listener that wrote in is going to be on the winning side of this. So the answer is yes, a girth can be too tight, but I think the reality of the situation is that it would be pretty unlikely for a rider to really over tighten the girth, given that they're a conscious horse owner. They're just sort of aware of what's going on, and the vast majority of girths nowadays have elastic in them. So between those two things, it's going to be pretty rare that someone's truly going to over tighten it. In an extreme case, you could over tighten it and maybe impact the breathing, just like at the walk or at the trot, impact the breathing of the horse because it would be so restrictive. But I really don't think it's something that is a serious issue, because I think most people are aware enough. Now, the only other thing to mention is that if you find you have to tighten your girth just unbelievably tight to keep your saddle in place or for it to serve its function, then I would suggest you probably have something else going on and another problem that needs addressing. Maybe you've got a saddle fit problem, or maybe something else is going on that isn't right. But if you find yourself having to just wrench your girth really tight, please pause and figure out what the actual problem is.
You probably don't have a Total Saddle Fit shoulder relief girth. That's the problem.
That's your problem.
Hey, I like how you think.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, well, I've had a few clients buy the girth, and it's been great for all the horses we've had it on. I've got mine, and it's been awesome. So, I guess it's a good answer. Good answer to the girth problem.
Well, I have a kind of a girth question, and it has to do with our Total Saddle Fit shoulder relief girth, because I have to be honest, I brought in, this is a great story. I have a 24-year-old mare who I rode Grand Prix, and she's been retired for 2 years. And I needed a working student horse, so I thought, let me try and bring her back in and see if she's sound and if she wants to go back to work a little bit. And I'm happy to report she very much is happy. She trots up the hill every day. She's so excited. But, Justin, she's a little on the chunky side. I'm not going to lie. She's fat. And well endowed.
That Kentucky bluegrass.
It is. She's been very much enjoying her retirement. So I put on the girth that I had for her before. That it was not the Total Saddle Fit shoulder relief girth. This was just a normal fuzzy girth that she'd had forever when it was the same tack we'd used. But I will tell you, she got a terrible rub. So I thought, well, let me try my shoulder relief girth, and the rub went away. So my question is, why? It works great. I've never put it on such a fat horse. So my question is, why is the girth working so well on a fat horse? Go.
So I would guess, well, first off, I should say that, at 24 and retired, I think she's earned a few pounds at least.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree.
But so, without seeing any pictures or anything, my first guess is that as she's putting on weight, she's if you're taking a very traditional straight girth, like a regular girth, as she's putting on weight, she's effectively sliding that girth kind of farther forward and pinching it in between her elbows and her barrel. And, because the girth's always going to try to find that sort of the lowest point around the horse's body, because it's sort of always going to creep to the easiest place to be, and it's always that lowest point. So as the horse puts on weight, it's going to want to find that gap behind the elbows and around the barrel. And what I think is probably happening is that right there is where she's getting rubs, where if you put a shoulder relief girth on, the center of the girth will still sit in that natural place where she's pushing it, that lowest distance around her body. But the benefit is that the sides of the shoulder relief girth cut back a couple inches. So the area where she would be getting rubbed the girth is now moved away from those and goes up her side in a more comfortable way.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. There is a handy-dandy search bar in the top right-hand corner of the page. Make sure you have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go by downloading the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. You can also subscribe via iTunes. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of Uncle Jimmy's and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner in the center of the page. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.